He hosted SportsCenter for 23 years, and last Friday night, final broadcast for the mothership, and now leaving ESPN. 23 years. Hey, congratulations on lasting that long.
Hey Dan, if I'd known, I was at ESPN 20 plus years. If I'd known it was going to take leaving to get on your show, I would have left a long time
ago. Why did you leave?
Yeah, it was time. It just it was time to go. I didn't want ESPN to be my last chapter. And once again, like you showed all of us that you could leave ESPN and still not only survive but thrive doing something else. But it is tough jumping off that cliff.
Yeah, because those four letters are so powerful, and you could hide behind them and get ESPN muscles there. But also, I'm wondering about the SportsCenter teams as we move down the road with whatever SportsCenter is or what it's going to be. You and Stan Verrett were doing this together for a long, long time, and probably the last of the known anchor teams there. Is it being discouraged, or do they even embrace that they want to have SportsCenter teams anymore?
Well, those are decisions that are made with guys who had offices in Bristol, not guys who had cubes in Los Angeles. So Stan and I, listen, Stan and I looked up to you and Keith, and we tried to emulate you in the ways that we could, and have a camaraderie and bring entertainment and do the highlights the way that we grew up watching them, and hopefully we succeeded in that.
How important was it when you first started to have a catchphrase for a highlight?
Oh, it just like bartender just came to me, and nobody said, "Hey, you got to have a catchphrase." What people said was, "You got to be in a commercial." I remember I went home to Hawaii, and I'm like, "Hey, I'm going to be on SportsCenter. I'm going to be on SportsCenter," and all anyone wanted to know was, "When are you going to do a commercial?" That's all anybody wanted. So, but the catchphrases are fun. They're part of the E and the entertainment and the ESPN.
Yeah, I remember when we were trying to get athletes to come to ESPN to Bristol to do those commercials, and man, was it tough because they all wanted to know, were they going to get paid? And then when you said, we'll make a charitable donation in your name, and then nobody wanted to come. So I said to Jason Kidd and Grant Hill, I said, would you do me a favor? Would you come to ESPN? And then they were like, for a day. Like, how long? And then I said it would be for a day. And then all of a sudden the reaction when other athletes saw those guys do those commercials, then the floodgates open. Everybody wanted to have their own commercial. Is there one that you were involved in that stands out the most?
Oh, yeah, it was the Roger Federer commercial. It's the first one I did. I was the only person in it. Roger, if they ranked anchors, where would I be? 1 through 10. I'm not sure you'd be in the top 10, Neil. And I was able to give him stink eye and say I'd be in the top 10. And what's really funny about that was Roger Federer wrote me after that. And he said, "Hey, I did some research. You're definitely in the top 10. Would you like to be my guest at the U.S. Open?" And I'm like, "Yeah."
Oh,
and
wow.
So I wrote him back. Yeah. Never heard. Following up. Yes. Never heard from him again. I'm watching the U.S. Open and they show Roger. Oh, there's Roger Federer. Oh, Tiger Woods is there. And I'm like, Roger, I've never heard from him since.
What was your favorite thing on social media, the reaction when you were leaving ESPN? Did anything stand out?
Well, I'm not on social media, but people forward some stuff to me, and the one that stood out the most to me, and I said it on the way out of LA, was somebody wrote and said, "I've watched ESPN religiously for 20 years, and I don't even know who this guy is you're talking about." So, I think that gave me a little perspective.
Are you setting up shop in Hawaii for good?
Well, there's Hawaii, there's Oregon, and there's California. So I'm the grass under my feet is growing. It's time to move on. It's time to get going. And where that lands, I don't know. I've been working for the Trailblazers the last couple of years. I've got opportunities in Hawaii. I love living in LA. So we'll see what happens.
Well, you're with the Blazers. If you ran the Blazers, what would you do with Dame Lillard, Neil Everett?
Ooh, oh. Dame has earned a level of respect from Portland, and you have to really be in Portland or be of Portland to understand Damian Lillard's grip on Portland. He's stayed there. He could run for mayor right now, if not governor, and win. He's that popular. I'd have a hard time being the guy who let Damian Lillard go.
Congratulations. And just another chapter coming up there, and don't be afraid.
I appreciate it, Dan. I mean, again, you're a guy who you're the pro's pro. I've always watched you and said, Dan Patrick is I want to. It's not like I want to be like Dan Patrick. I want to be Dan Patrick. I want to be cool like Dan Patrick. And we know the cool is the rule, Dan.
Thank you, Neil. And we appreciate your time.
I appreciate you having me.
That's Neil Everett, hosted ESPN SportsCenter for 23 years.